Howdy do, buckaroos. How the heck are you? I'm going to be Tom the Whiskey Whisperer for the purpose of this video. I just got home from work and I wanted to go live about 13 minutes ago and I couldn't get anyways. I am an analog I'm an analog man in a digital world.
This is true.
So I've got Jersey
Aren't
Johnny
we
with
all?
me. I got Jersey Johnny with me. See, I had this thing figured out the other day. I had it with it where I was able to put a background on there. So I tried to do the exact same thing today, and I couldn't get it to work. I had it all screwed up. And anyways, this is the first time I've tried to put a guest on here. So Johnny, I'll tell you what I'm drinking here. I picked this up at Neely's Family Distillery in Sparta, Kentucky, when we were on our way home from our vacation. And this is Papa's Birthday Barrel, a tribute to one of Kentucky's most legendary farmers and distillers. A bottled in bond, so it's at 100 proof. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, although this one, some of their products give me the exact mash. This one doesn't. But their other bourbon is wheated, so I might have to just leap to the conclusion that this one is as well. So I'm going to pour me about an ounce and a quarter on the rocks. I'm going to pour me some neat as well. And what are you drinking, man?
I figured I'm gonna wind up my night with just bourbon on the rock.
There you go.
That was good.
Well, I just got home from work, so this is my first one of the day.
I just ate I literally just had 2 walnuts before, and I think I just inhaled a piece.
Oh no,
that was good. But along those lines, I'm having a little Knob Creek smoked maple.
Oh, smoked maple. So I used that whiskey at work, and I designed a cocktail I call a pecan pie old fashioned. So I use that whiskey, then I make a simple using raw sugar, toasted pecans, and some bourbon vanilla. And with that mix, with that particular bourbon, it kind of gives you the illusion of pecan pie.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Bitters. I didn't mention bitters. I use ginger bitters, just a couple drops of ginger bitters.
Okay, so sugar, toasted pecans, and bourbon vanilla, simple.
Yeah,
and then some ginger bitters with that.
Yeah, and I use raw sugar. I never use white sugar to make my.
No. Gotta use raw sugar.
So this is a Hard Rock glass I got January 1st of this year at the Hard Rock Casino in Tulsa.
And there's mine. Cheers. Sláinte.
Sláinte. So how was your day, sir?
Oh, well, let's see. Oh, that's good. That's good stuff. It was good. It was good. I got a lot of work done. Wrapped up the week, so to speak. And then we when I finished up, we got a little more decorating done. We're just about done.
Oh,
it's a process. You could say I set up some stuff usually behind me. I got another little tree that I set up over here that I haven't done yet, but downstairs is done. Outside was done. Well, it was about 80% done. And then we wound up having, like, I don't know, what I can only describe as a tornado yesterday and Wednesday out in the front, or actually, well, Wednesday into yesterday. Ridiculous winds. It was mainly yesterday. And everything got blown all over the place. So we left it alone. It was still a little windy today, so we're gonna fix it up tomorrow. so I'm providing.
Do you decorate your studio?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I got Santa here. Got a Giants Christmas Village house, if you will, right here. It's a secret. You can't see it.
Apparently, I hit the wrong button again. Damn
it! Well, it's just an audio podcast now.
There we go. Now we're back.
Right? And we got a background.
I'm gonna figure this out at some point, but not today.
It'll work. It's all good. And Santa hat on top of it. Knuckle cracker. Yeah. Nutcracker.
No, that's not right.
There we go. Now we're tiny. Now we're tiny.
And now I lost this completely again.
There we go.
There we go. But I'm just going to not screw with it anymore. Every time I think I have it figured out, I screw it up.
That's all. And I got a giant hat here and a elf hat right there. And then I usually set up my small little white tree here. And my TV went off. What the hell?
Oh, there you go.
Let's do this. Let's put on what I always put on and get that going. And in any event, so it was pretty good. Tomorrow, I do have to. I'm not going to stay on too long because tomorrow morning, and we are an hour ahead of you.
Yeah, you're late. It's late. You're about midnight in your neck of the woods.
It's 2 minutes to midnight. Yeah, we're tomorrow morning. We're running the Asbury Park Santa Run.
Oh my!
So yeah, it's oh geez, I don't even know how many. There's a lot of people that run it. And they're all dressed as Santa. We're all dressed as Santa for the run, and it's pretty cool. You got like 5,000 Santas running around Asbury Park.
That sounds like a hoop.
It's fun. Yeah, and then we usually grab breakfast, and then at that point, I got to run up to a bar that Dave and I talk about often on the beer podcast called the Cloverleaf. It's in Caldwell, New Jersey, up north, about an hour and change away. They're doing their Christmas keg tree lighting. So they light, they stack up kegs, empty kegs, all the way up to form like the shape of a tree, and then they put branches in each layer, so it looks like a tree all the way up with a star on top. It's pretty cool. And they do that. They like that later on, but it's a whole day, and all local beers are on tap. One of ours is, so we'll be up there for that. So that'll be fun.
So that's something you do every year.
Every year they do that every the first Saturday in December every year they do that. So it's a fun time.
Now, Johnny, for those of you that don't know, is one of the owners at Coastal Brew Works.
Brewworks, right? Yeah.
And what area are you in, Johnny?
In New Jersey. We're just in Jersey.
So how can folks find you if they're looking for you?
Come to New Jersey. We're pretty much all over the state. You can find it in taps and bars and restaurants and beer stores, bottle shops all over the state. But again, only just in Jersey. So if anybody's near Jersey or coming to Jersey or has somebody in Jersey for them that can pick it up, you can find us pretty easily. Just go to our website and you can find out. You can link to our website, has the info, and you can link to our social media, which has the info where beers are located. Our website is www.coastalbrewworks.com. That's
very nice.
Brewworks.com.
So are you getting busy this time of year?
Actually, within the next week, it'll start to slow down. Everybody's loading up now, so it'll start to taper off little by little, and then the Christmas week and New Year's week, we basically don't work. There's no very very little going on in the way of sales or anything like that during those 2 weeks, and a lot of January. Pick back up again. It'll slowly it ramps down and it ramps up.
Yeah.
But it's all good. It's all good.
Everybody's got everything they want at that point.
Right. I mean, the only place is honestly at that point, like probably between the middle of the week before Christmas and mid to late January. For the most part, the only stores or bars that you're servicing are ones that always have you on. And when they run out, they bring you back in. That's it's not something that's rotating. And even then, it's slower because people aren't buying as much beer. You got your dry Januaries, right? So that
what's wrong with those people?
Right?
They got sober October and dry January. Do they need 2 months?
They need exactly right.
Well, they need to pick one. You can have dry January or sober October. You can't have both.
Right, exactly. But which we call as things fill up, and it's the time of year too, because we have a couple offerings that can be looked at. We don't have an actual Christmas beer this year per se, but we have a couple of our brands, are types of beers that you could drink, maltier, and so forth and so on.
Anything holiday adjacent, if you will.
Holiday adjacent. I mean, our Schwartz beer, we try to make it holiday adjacent. We kind of release it on Black Friday. It's Black Lager, right, for Black Friday. But it's definitely, it's like any other Schwartz beer. It's like most, I shouldn't say any other, like most other Schwartz beers. Well brewed Schwarzbiers, that is. It's very light, easy to drink, little, very subtle roast, and residual bitterness, but nice chocolatey. You know, again, not chocolate like sweet by any means, but
Mhm.
it's
More like
it's
a dark
definitely
chocolate.
it's a dark chocolate, like a crusher kind of thing. You
Mhm.
can enjoy it. You can enjoy several of them. I've had a couple on. In fact, I think I paired one on our and a chaser podcast a few weeks ago. I may or may not have. I'm not sure. I think I did, but I definitely had it on the log room guys. So, um, but yeah, it's a fun beer, and more coming. 20. We got a nice schedule slated for 2025. So
Are you doing anything barrel aged yet?
not yet. We haven't done anything barrel aged yet, but that's coming soon. Well, as soon as as soon as the barrels will permit. Let's put it that
Well,
way.
I know it's tough for smaller craft breweries to do barrel aged because you've got to sit on a product for a period of time. And I
Well,
know I
yes,
work for a small brewery and we've done some barrel aged, but it has been
Mhm.
a little difficult to have product that you can't use for a year.
Mhm. Exactly, exactly. That's the whole thing. So what you try to do is you brew it, uh, you whatever you're brewing, right? Whatever you're gonna put in the barrels, you brew enough of it so that you can keg up some of it, and make some money back on it, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Um, and while the rest of the batch is aging, so it's kind of it at least break even on the beer with the beer you keg, and then for a smaller brewery, obviously bigger breweries doesn't matter, right? But
Mhm.
break even on the beer you do keg right away, and then this way the stuff that's aging when it's ready and it's time to release it, it's pure profit at that point. You know,
So since we're both drinking whiskey this evening, let's talk a little bit about whiskey. Have you picked up any new offerings lately?
I have not, but I do have my eye on the toasted barrel. Well, you've known I told you before. One of my favorite bourbons, mid-range bourbons, if you will, is Bibb and Tucker.
Mhm.
Um, and I've only had I've never bought the toasted barrel. I've had it once. It was
Mhm.
fantastic years ago. Anytime I pick up Bibb and Tucker, because a lot of people don't carry the other versions of it, but the uh, Total Wine near me just got a bunch of the toasted barrel ones. So I think I'm going to pick up a bottle of that.
So when you say
Um,
mid range, what are we talking about?
$50 bottle.
Okay. All right. That's what I
Yeah,
would call mid range. But then, I've
yeah.
talked to some people, well, it's about
Mid
80
range,
to
mid range.
$100. $100 is an expensive bottle to me, but
It's a $300 bottle.
yeah,
It's mid
yeah,
range.
yeah.
I'm kidding.
I'm
So
always
you
curious.
got to.
Yeah, to me, $50. That's so. This particular bourbon that I'm drinking this evening
Mhm.
was how much was it? It was about 80. And I only bought it, in all honesty, because I was on vacation, right? I'm still in that vacation mode with vacation money at a distillery I've never been to before and when I'll probably never
100%
get
with
to
you.
again. And the main reason I bought this one is because it is signed and it was there. There was a special release that's going to be there and gone, and they only had a few bottles left. So I figured,
Right.
what the hell? But I'm telling you, I bought 3 products from that distillery. Again, it's Neely family out of Sparta, Kentucky, and every product I bought from them is just insanely good.
Nice.
I had their other bourbon here. It's their Kentucky Straight Bourbon Single Barrel Strength, and it's at 109 proof. But this mash bill I found interesting. It's 76% corn, 19% wheat, and 5% malted barley. And this stuff is just crazy good.
Yeah.
And then the other product I picked up from them is what they call their Sweet Thumped Rye. And again, it's a cask at 110.
Nice.
And this stuff is just amazing. It's a custom seasoned, toasted, and charred oak, but it doesn't give me their mash bill on the rye. But I was drinking so much of them when I first got them home that I had to put them away and forget about them for a while. I've only had this Papa's birthday barrel one time before to do a video, Neat and Rocks, but I thought I'd pop some again tonight because I haven't had it in about a month and a half. I was just kind of curious after not having it for a while what my thoughts on it were.
Gotcha.
That's
See a
just
couple of comments up
outstanding.
there. Very nice.
So, do you have any? I'm all about local and small distiller. Do you have any close to you that
Oh yeah.
you buy regularly?
There's a few that are close. Garden State down in Tom's River. I had it on the podcast you missed that you got called into work.
Yeah.
The End of Chaser podcast. We did the All Jersey one. It's it's their bottled old fashioned. So they actually
Oh, okay.
right. It's their bottled old fashioned, and they call it proper cock.
Okay.
So and then so I had that. So that they make some decent stuff, but Asbury Park Distilling is lights out. That's as far as close by. There's a distillery up in Long Branch. There was a rum distillery that's fantastic. There was a rum distillery in Neptune, not too far away from Asbury Park, just about a block out of Bradley Beach, which is just south of Asbury Park, and is a couple breweries, like right in the middle of two breweries too. But they closed last year. It was more of a pet project of the guy that owned it, and he was done. He had his fun. He got out. But they're opening up another distillery there. It was supposed to be open earlier this year, and one thing led to another, and they just got a little delayed. So they're opening soon. So more on that. But I will definitely be getting some of their stuff and having it, here on the pub, and of course on the End of Chaser show that we
You
do.
kind of see that a lot with breweries and distilleries, where you have folks that have kind of dabbled in or done some home distilling and home brewing, and then try to open up a shop and find it's a lot of work, more than they expected
Right.
it to. And I know you've got some strange liquor laws in your state as well.
Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, we can't do. I mean, the brewery laws have. I mean, the liquor laws in general are odd because a lot of them do date back to 1933 and their repeal of prohibition.
Nice.
They've been on the books for, I mean, over 90 years now, and it's just they're archaic. I mean, things have changed in over 90 years. You need to roll with it, and they have been changing some stuff up. I will give them that. They did change finally. They made the biggest change they made was back in 2012. Before that, breweries in New Jersey, craft breweries in New Jersey, could not have tasting rooms. You basically had a tour. You walk into a brewery, you had to take a tour right then. Like the first thing you did before you did anything in the breweries, you had to go on a tour, learn how the product was made, and then afterwards you were given 4 4-ounce samples, not to buy them, handed. Here you go. You get 4 4-ounce samples, not 5, 4. And then when you're done with those 4, goodbye, get out. Can't hang out. You could buy up to 2 6-packs of bottles, because at the time, nobody was. This was prior to 16-ounce cans, right? So
Mhm.
everything was bottled, and it was 12-ounce bottles. So you could buy up to 2 6-packs to go, and then get out, get in your car, get out, go home. You've only had 4 4-ounce samples, so you can get in your car and go home, right? And that was it. And that was that. And at the time, there was 9 breweries in New Jersey. That was it. 9 production breweries making beer and just distributing it. No tap room sales or anything like that. And then they changed the law in September 2012, so only a little over 12 years ago. And they allowed for tasting rooms, and you could sit there and drink pints and buy a keg to go home and the whole 9 yards. That was the biggest change. That was the biggest thing. And I mean, now we got over 150 breweries in the state. Maybe a little less now. A couple have closed in the last year or so. But the whatchamacallit, the other thing the whole time was that we weren't allowed to partner with food trucks. We weren't allowed to do anything. You could bring food in on your own. Like you could go out and get food, and you could pick up the phone, you could pick up your cell phone and call for a pizza or call for DoorDash or something like that and have it delivered. That's fine too. But the customer had to facilitate it. The brewery couldn't facilitate it, right? They couldn't give you the menus. They couldn't have the food truck. They couldn't have a deal with a restaurant or anything like that. And there was a law along the lines of could only have 25 events a year. And what's an event? An acoustic guitarist on a Tuesday night sitting in the corner playing a couple of songs. That's an event. A playoff sporting match on TV, like one of the basketball playoffs in June, right? That's an event. Can only have 25 events a year. So that's not even one every 2 weeks. That's less than one every other week. So anyway, in January this year, they passed a law. We can coordinate with food trucks. We can have a food truck parked outside, where it's legally parked, right? Parked outside. We can coordinate with restaurants. We can even have pop-ups come in. As long as we're not earning any money off of the food sales, it's fine.
Okay.
Right? That's the only stipulation there. And this all stems from the Restaurant Association because they kind of guide things a little bit with that because they spend so much money on liquor licenses. Some restaurants now spend over $1 million on a liquor license.
It's crazy.
It's stupid, yeah. But the other thing we could do is we have an unlimited events now, so we can have an event every day. So that's good. So that's that. The hamstringing got taken away. So that's
good.
There's a lot more to do, and I'm not saying a lot more in the way of just craziness, but there's a lot more that can change. That should I shouldn't say can change, should change, but we'll see where it goes. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, it does. It's a lot, for like getting back to what you were saying. People that have dabble, they do some home distilling or whatever, and then they open up a distillery just to dabble. They're not quitting their day jobs, right? Because it's a they're not like making the jump, making the leap, and this is my career now. It's still a hobby to them, right? And this guy was an example of that, right? And so he wasn't quitting his day job. What normally happens there is you just have somebody that's distilling, and obviously, as long as they're there making sure that everything's going through the motions, it's not like it's a tedious chore. And once he has batches ready, then he can have his tasting room for that. He can make cocktails and so forth and so on with his spirits and so forth. But generally speaking, anybody doing it like that, doesn't have a tasting room that's open all week. They usually have it open maybe on a Friday night and on the weekend, and that's it. So they're not making a lot of money because they're not getting a lot of foot traffic because they're only open small hours. And the people that are going around to the other places are going to the ones that have events and have trivia and have music and have TVs and they're open many hours and they get the word out more, and maybe they're actually doing some outside sales and having the spirits out there. So there's something, and they get some of them in bars and restaurants too, and the bars and restaurants are actually using these to make cocktails and so forth and so on. These guys are, they're limited, right? They're not doing any outside sales. They're not doing a lot of promotion. It's just a hobby. So they're not making any money at it. And then after a while, it's like, okay, do I really want to keep doing this hobby? Because it's becoming work now. I'm not making a lot of money. I'm making the amount of money that I need to pay my rent.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I'm wasting my weekend now.
That's the problem. Something that was fun is no longer fun.
Right. Exactly. But it is what it is. I think there's a couple of comments up there.
Oh, I didn't see them. Where are they at? I'm still trying to figure out my freaking technology here. I don't know where they're popping up here. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. Well, thanks, Johnny. I'm glad you're paying attention. Shit. Right so Gabriel says, hi, good night. It's 10 p.m. here. Okay, we'll post his comment. Vanessa says hi. Let me put her up there.
Hi, Vanessa.
And then Gabriel's back with a few things to say. I don't know what any of that means.
It was while I was talking about New Jersey bars, so maybe he knows about it, or maybe he just liked the conversation.
There we go. Anyways, thanks, Gabriel and Vanessa. I'm sorry I didn't figure that out. Anyways, this is my first drink of the day, believe it or not. I probably could have figured it out quicker than to start drinking first. Oh, mercy. I didn't necessarily have a long week, but it's just been one of those weeks, if you're following me. And then it's got cold here, and the chronic pain just, is worse when it's cold. Get those old people problems.
Oh yeah. But
The
I
back
did.
hurts.
Well, I said this to somebody yesterday, I believe. The older we get, the more injured we are when we wake up in the morning.
Yes, that's the truth. Yeah.
Right?
You shake it off all day long, then when it gets night, it comes back again a little bit at a
It comes
time.
back and it's like, you better get your ass in bed.
Some nights I have to make the decision: do I want to drink or do I want to take a muscle relaxer? I can't do
Right,
both.
exactly.
So, do I want
Well,
alcohol or do I
depends on what it
want
is. I
the
mean, like
pharmaceutical?
potato. I mean, 6 of 1, right?
Well, the truth is, if I have to work the next day, if I have to get up really early, then I'll opt for the muscle relaxer and just go right to bed. But if I don't have to work, I am off tomorrow, so I went with alcohol because it doesn't necessarily get rid of the pain, but if I have enough, I just don't care anymore.
Exactly.
The pain's still there, but I don't care. So we've got one local distillery here in town, Johnny. But it's connected with or the same owners as a brewery. A Springfield Brewing Company has there's also a distillery called Tiaki Da. But the laws here is they have to be in 2 separate buildings.
Sure.
And I don't know. Some of the laws in various states just don't seem to make a lot of sense. You can't have a brewery and distillery. It has to be a brewery / distillery.
Gotcha. Yeah, put up Gabriel's comment.
Gabriel says
he says he doesn't know about New Jersey.
He's in Arizona, just showing support. Oh, well, I appreciate that, man.
We appreciate that. Cheers.
Thank you, Gabriel. I fucked it up again. Anyways, I digress. So, what's your day like? So you're doing the Santa run tomorrow.
Santa run tomorrow, and then up to the that Christmas keg tree lighting at the bar up north, and then on from there. So that's the day tomorrow.
So how far you got to run tomorrow? Is it like a 5K?
It's a 5K. Yeah, it's a 5K. So it's a fun 5K though. It's not like it's timed and everything else, but
you're not killing yourself.
No, everybody's in Santa suits. It's a
fun okay.
Thing. Yeah, so this.
Are you a contender?
Oh hell no! I'm in the middle of the pack, if you will. I'll here's the thing. When Jess and I go out and we do runs, she runs the whole thing. She's got good times and everything else. I'm mid range. If I'm in shape and training for something longer, like we used to do the Broad Street 10-miler in Philly, she still does it. I stopped after 6 years. I was like 6, I'm good. I don't need to do it anymore. I go and hang out while she runs it. But whatchamacallit, if I'm feeling it, I run and walk, right? I'll run 3 blocks and walk 2 blocks, and then run 3 blocks and walk 2 blocks. And then if I'm not in shape, I run 2 blocks and walk 3 blocks, right? So alternate that up. But in any event, like I said, I'm mid-range. Tomorrow, though, the Santa run, we have a friend coming down and running it with us, and she's a walker. She just walks. She walks her 5Ks when she does it. She goes out to do it and participate in it, right? So generally speaking, Jess will run. I'll walk with her. So tomorrow I'm just walking it. I'm not even going to do any running. And it's for 2 reasons. One, I'll stay with her, right? And we'll share some conversation and it'll go through it and everything else. It's not like we're on our own. So that's always fun. But the other reason is it's supposed to be in the high 20s when the race kicks off tomorrow. And that's cold. And I don't, when I do run, I sweat. And anybody that knows this, there's only one thing worse than sweating your ass off in the middle of summer. And that's sweating your ass off in the middle of winter.
Santa suit?
No, sweating your ass off in the middle of winter.
Oh,
yeah. But so I don't feature running and getting hot. Plus, I'm gonna be wearing a lot of clothing to keep warm. So hence you're running that and you wind up sweating quicker. So I'll walk And then we generally after we do that, we go to it. It starts and ends at the famous Stone Pony in Asbury Park.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So inside there's a little after party there, and also up at Wonder Bar. So we pop in there, grab a bite for breakfast, and then probably grab a beer somewhere, and then probably home by around noon.
Oh, that's not too bad. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not too bad. Yeah, and then clean up and leave and go up to the go up north for the cake tree lighting. So that should be fun.
Well, as ambitious as I get, is I've done a beer mile a couple times, but that's as
Well,
ambitious as I get.
I've done a couple beer miles. I've done a couple beer 5Ks. That's always
Oh,
good.
I haven't done a beer 5K. I did a
And
mile.
there's always it's a beer stop every half mile. So you wind up getting it's a beer stop every half mile and then one at the end. So you
Oh,
get
okay, gotcha.
you get basically you get 7 beer stops. You get 6 beer stops and then 6 beer stops, but they're 4-ounce beers. So you're not drinking like a
Oh,
16-ounce pint of something.
yeah.
You're getting a 4-ounce beer every 4 ounces of beer every half mile. So you get 6 of those.
Oh, there
So
you
that's
go.
20,
Okay.
24. So
Well,
you
that's not so bad.
you got like you drank like 2 12-ounce beers, right? And then at the end you have a full pour.
No, when I did the
That's
beer
good.
mile, they had to, it was basically 4 laps around the building. It may not have exactly been a mile, but anyway, you had to, before you could start the race, you had to pound a 12-ounce beer before you
Oh, yeah.
could start. And then every lap you had to, every time you came around, you had to knock a 12-ounce beer back. So here's the thing: I don't really have a run in me. It's more of a brisk waddle.
That
So
works.
I would be almost in last place every time I got around the building, but I could drink beer faster than most of them.
There you
So
go.
I get there and
You
I'd
had
get a lead.
you had an unfair
So
advantage.
I had this one guy who kept passing me, and he kept passing me, and after the third lap, he passed me, going around the last lap. Uh, he got ahead of me, and I come around the corner, and he's just puking his guts out. And I said, "I bet you're glad you passed me now."
Yeah.
I walked right around him and kept going. And I finished ahead of him. I
Gotta
didn't
love it.
finish last.
Everything in moderation. And for something like that, that doesn't insinuate that you should take the beer into moderation. You should take the running into moderation.
See, that's what I did. This guy was chugging. He was trying to go fast, and I just kept my same pace. So all 4 laps, just the same pace. Never tried to go faster. So my whole goal was just to finish the damn thing.
Nice.
And I finished ahead of about a dozen because they puked and passed out. Because the rules are if you puke, you're out.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So you'd rather finish towards the back of the pack and finish
Yes.
than Yeah.
But anyway, so Johnny, I know you got a long day tomorrow, so I'm going to wind this up. You want any final words about the whiskey you're drinking there?
It's a fantastic. Knob Creek Smoked Maple is fantastic. You know me in smoke. You know me in maple, right? There's only one thing right now that would make this better than it is, and that would be a couple of dashes of.
Oh, your Knob Creek?
Yeah, a couple of dashes of black walnut bitters.
Black walnut bitters, yeah.
Throw a couple of black walnut bitter dashes.
And you almost got an old fashioned there.
And you almost got an old fashioned. There you go. Exactly. It's Knob Creek Smoked Maple it's pretty tasty. It's not heavy on the maple. It's not heavy on the smoke. It's just the right amount. This I don't when I make my smoked maple old fashioned, which I've done on the At a Chaser podcast.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll use a bourbon. I typically when I make my smoked maple old fashioned, I typically try to use whatchamacallit. Yeah. Hello. It's after midnight, so I apologize. I typically try to use geez, I have to turn around and look. Never mind. One particular bourbon. We'll leave it at that. One specific bourbon. That pairs well with it. But I use smoked maple syrup so I can control the amount of maple and the amount of smoke. Of course, leveling them together, of course. And then I use my black walnut bitters, and I always put in a couple of Luxardos. But obviously I can just use this. But I like it a little. I like the maple and the smoke a little bit more accentuated in the old fashioned that I make. So whenever I buy a bottle of this, the Knob Creek Smoked Maple, I just buy it for sipping.
Just for sipping, yeah.
Just for sipping. That's all that's for. So, but I'm excited for our next And a Chaser show, which is a week from next Wednesday, when we're doing our what did we say we were going to call it? Comforting Christmas cocktails.
Yeah, so that can cover a lot of ground, huh?
Right, exactly.
So it's still technically a holiday cocktail,
Mm-hmm. So
but it doesn't necessarily have to be, I guess. But comforting. When I think comforting, I can go a lot of different directions. I mean, I know we were talking about eggnog.
Right. I'm doing two different eggnog cocktails. Dave is doing an eggnog cocktail and a hot chocolate cocktail.
Oh gosh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
And then it's up to you to come up with yours.
Well, I think because you're doing two eggnog, he's doing eggnog and hot chocolate. I think one of my cocktails has to have coffee.
That's probably a good idea.
Since we're not, no, you two aren't doing coffee, I think you have to do a coffee. Coffee has to be a comforting cocktail.
Well, 100%, absolutely.
I just have to decide if I want to do it hot or cold. Is the question.
Right.
Do I want a hot cocktail? Or do like an Irish coffee kind of thing, or
do one of each?
There you go. Well, I won't do two coffee, but I gotta do one coffee. Yeah.
There you go.
I've got to decide. So I've been trying to decide if I wanted to make eggnog myself, because I haven't done it in a few years. So I was looking back at past recipes that I've used. So I'm trying to decide if I want to put that much work into it.
Exactly. I always make one batch. I'm making it for that. When it's done, it's done. If we need eggnog in the house after that, I'm not making another batch. I'll just go buy some. There's a couple out there that I do buy. But Gabriel just commented again. He said eggnog is so good. He loves it. Gabriel, tune in a week from next Wednesday, so the 18th. Tune into the And a Chaser podcast. So it's Facebook. Just search on Facebook for And a Chaser, and it'll also be simulcast on the Logger Room guys YouTube, because I see you're on YouTube. So if you
absolutely
search on YouTube for the Logger Room guys podcast channel, it'll be simulcast on that as well. You can watch it on that night as well. So, but
all right,
that night those cocktails will be done that
night. That'll be a lot of fun.
Sip along, make an eggnog cocktail or two. Sip along with us and comment in, because we put all the comments up like tonight.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have your cocktail, yeah, we can talk about that as well. Absolutely. Anyways, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. I want to thank Jersey Johnny for joining me here. We're gonna wrap this sucker up so Johnny can go to bed and get ready for his Santa 5K. We're gonna go through my spiel and go right to the end and say all around good guys, Sláinte.